Yeah, like a big part of the stuff is to get rid of cost in this technology, or that cost has been a huge barrier, and
Right, but what's expensive in academics is often cheap in production, and what's cheap in academics is usually really, really expensive in production.
That's interesting.
So, like doing a glove, a lot of people are doing like 3D printed gloves.
Right.
Well, making 3D printed members and structures from and making those sort of beam and plastic elements, production, that's dirt cheap to make plastic beams, right? But that's really complicated and hard for them. But in the academic environment, they're like, okay, well, I'm going to use a Maxon high precision basket wound brushless DC motor that's like that's like they're paying $100 for it. Well, they're spending $5,000 in parts for the whole thing, $100 for the motor. Who cares? But when you're but that motor is $100 in one, and if you buy 10,000, it's 75.
Yeah, because
it's not a high production motor. So how do you so that's what I would say is that those costs end up inverted. And so like you can spend a lot of time in the production environment about how to optimize a design and make this, and even use potentially a little bit of fairly exotic materials to make something happen. And figure out how to optimize. So you're just using a really, really tiny amount of that sort of expensive material, and then design the things around that, basically. Am I making sense?
I think so. I get what you mean. I'm just kind of looking through my list of questions, see if there's anything else I wanted to ask you before we get going. I guess maybe the final one could be Alexa talking to me. What kind of experience do you think consumers really want most from this technology? That's something that's failing them in the current tech. Like, what's that cool? I guess the easiest thing right now in the gaming VR experience is that it's basically still 20-year-old Rumble. Is the default experience, and so much could be in gaming, both in AR and VR, could be so much better with a little bit more effort in implementing technologies that are definitely out there. I'll point to the Microsoft trigger. They just stuck another vibrator on that trigger. There's so much more you could have done with that trigger by implementing other technologies. To make it push back on you a little more, or what kind of
potentially
like make it tough to pull in some scenarios and easier in others.
Yeah. Consider doing that boat demo with a trigger that works like that.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there's definitely plenty more places to go. That just skeptical of the timing of it and how it's all going to come together. That's what we're trying to figure out. So, well, thanks a ton for talking to me today. And any last things you think I should know about, or companies?
Not that I can think of.
What are good companies in the space? That's one thing I forgot to ask. Was like top companies, or who's doing the best at this stuff.
So certainly Immersion is a company that's got ideas out there about what can be done. Apple is making haptically very good products. The part that I skipped about the touchpads is they're able to make a huge touchpad because of haptics.
Yeah.